Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on another edition of Capital Sports coming to you from Abuja Channel 5. I am Badi Adeleye, and of course, we've come again with all the latest when it comes to the world of sports. And never you forget, we're still talking about the World Athletics Championship. Nigeria ended their campaign in Tokyo, finishing 27th overall. Was it the best of performances for the country? We'll talk about that. And of course, we do know the one that's the in thing now. Nigeria bidding to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games. And of course, NTA will be playing a huge role when it comes to, the broadcast of, of the proposed games if it goes through. So we'll be talking about that also on the show today. And of course, from the Nigeria Premier Football League to other leagues in the world, not leaving out, the Ballon d'Or that we saw on Monday. And of course, we do know that, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria are down there in Chile doing their thing ahead of the official kickoff of the World Cup. That's the Under 20 World Cup. And of course, the Under 17 boys are doing their thing also down there in Yamoussoukro, Cote d'Ivoire. And of course, they are trying to win the WAFU B Under 17 Boys Cup, and they tried by getting a 4-1 win over their Beninoa counterparts. That was just on Wednesday evening. We'll talk about this and many more on the show today. That's our outlook. And of course, never forget that you can join us on the show. Later on the show, we open the phone lines for you to contribute because it's always participatory. All right, just before we hit the ground running, let's go on this quick break. And afterwards, I'll be introducing my guest to you. All right, it's still Capital Sports, and straight away, this man is making his debut on the show, and it's so interesting to have him. So, join me in welcoming no other person than NTA's very own sports analyst, Austin Edemodu. By the way, he's got a PhD.
Thanks for
Welcome.
yeah, it's a pleasure having me on the show.
Welcome.
Of course, just
Welcome.
like you say, it's my debut. I
Yeah,
just hope
and
I'm going to get a soft
we call him
landing.
the sports doctor. So let's see what he's going to do on the show
It's
today.
all right.
And of course, we do hope you're going to get a hat trick. We're looking forward to that. Welcome.
Thank you very
All right. Without wasting time, we saw, the performance. You did, a very fantastic review of Nigeria's performance at the just concluded World Athletics Championships down there in Tokyo, Japan. We planned that it was going to be more. But the biggest thing that we saw there was Nigeria picking silver in the 100 meters hurdles for women. That was won by Toby Loba Musan. For you, how would you describe Nigeria's participation at at the WAC in Tokyo?
much. Thank you very much, Buddy, for having me. Yes, just like you said, we've done a review of the game of the championship in Tokyo.
Yeah.
As always, in preparation to that tournament, as the case may be, or the championship, we saw some controversy surrounding our preparations. The challenges we have always had is early preparation for events like that, championships. And remind you, it's a world championship. This is where you have the best of athletes competing at the highest level in the world. So you must have to give it everything that you have as a country. You must have to prepare your athletes. You must have to train them, give them the facility, give them the motivation, give them the funds that are needed to prepare them, to push them for them to represent their country at that highest level. And that was what other countries do. But I don't know if our country, Nigeria, was able to do that You saw what happened, starting from the controversy
Of the
of the
kit.
world relay. Let's start from the world
Okay.
relays in China that was held earlier in the year
That
in
some of
preparation.
the
Some of
athletes did not make
yeah,
it.
they couldn't go because they were denied visa by the Chinese embassy. Of course, the Chinese government came to apologize to Nigeria, but we knew what happened at that point in time. That some people did not do their job diligently. That was why we were not able to go to the world relay. And the saving grace was that some of our athletes have been competing at the highest level in their various countries and in their various collegiates. So they were able to garner points that made them to be at the World Championship. You could have imagined, you would have imagined if they were in Nigeria,
Mm.
where they were not open to so many competitions.
Mm.
What would have happened? They might not be, they wouldn't have gotten those points that led them to go to the to get to the World Championship. So quite unfortunate that we went to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo without our relays. Our relays have been the best bet for Nigeria.
Yeah.
The likes of Innocent Tibunika and the rest of them, they were very wonderful in relays for like both men and women. I could remember in those days we were
Yeah.
young, mobile and track field events, they featured prominently there for Nigeria. And that was a catalyst for the progress of Nigerian relays. But look at what is happening today. It was quite unfortunate that our relay team did not go to Tokyo. That is one thing. Then again, of course, we saw the trending video of Toby Amuson where she was displaying the kits that were meant to be used by the athletes, different sporting kits, compared to what USA, Japan, yes, Japan, USA, and Jamaica and the rest of them had. You saw lots of bags, filled with different types of athletics kits that could help them, spur them, energize them to perform for their country. But our own was quite very different, and it was an eyesore. So all those controversies, of course, going before then, we saw this February as well, switching allegiance to Turkey. Why? Because of what he suffered. You know, we are not getting it right.
Mm.
So the championship proper, you saw what happened. It was only Toby Amusa that was able to save the day for Nigeria, winning at least a medal, silver medal.
Mm.
And everybody will not blame her because nobody is going to blame her because she has made her record, a standing world record today
Yes.
in Oregon in 2022 USA, where she ran 12.12 to become the world record holder
Yeah.
in that 100 meters hurdles race. We have to give it to her. Kudos to her. She has been sacrificing despite all the challenges here and there, despite the people in authority not being able to live up to expectation in terms of preparing these athletes. Some of these athletes on their own have taken the bull by the horn because they want their career to progress. They are not waiting on authorities or government that is not ready to provide those basic necessities that will enhance their performance. So they are going out of their way. They hire coaches on their own. They go to the best of facilities. And if possible, most of them switch allegiance to countries where they know that their efforts will be highly appreciated and where the motivation is going to come from in terms of financial incentives and the rest of them. And that was what happened to Favor Phil. We lost her. So at the championship, you saw it all showed that we were not prepared for it. You could imagine just one saver. But the positives, just like I said, are there. Kanyishola
Making
Ajayi
it to the 100
making it to the
meters.
100 meters finals, even though he finished in the sixth position. But
Yes.
at least that 18 years genes has been broken by
Yes.
that young man. And he's a very good prospect. Then we saw Nathaniel Ezekiel. We saw Udodi Ozurike. We
Yes.
saw Enekwechi, although always sensational,
Always coming out.
always coming out. So those guys, they did us proud. But were they properly prepared for the championship? That is the question.
A question, that still keeps begging for an answer, and of course, maybe millions of answers. But we can't keep, dwelling on that. Better days ahead, one will believe. Let's hope that, we'll get better performances in, our future championships. And of course, still talking, athletics and now other things, beyond athletics. It's no longer news that, Nigeria is bidding to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, which is going to be which is going to mark the 100 years of the games itself since it began in Hamilton in 1930. And of course, I don't know that Nigeria wanted it badly in 2014 to mark the 100 years of Nigeria's amalgamation. But it didn't happen. But this time it's another centenary celebration and Nigeria won set. Before we dwell about that, let's quickly show you a quick video when it comes to that.
In 1930, in Hamilton, Canada, the Commonwealth Games were born. For 100 years, they circled the globe. But in all their history, one continent has never been called host: Africa. Now, in 2030, as the Games reach their centenary, the circle must be complete. In the heart of Africa stands Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria, the Commonwealth's largest youth nation, alive with culture, creativity, and possibility. Abuja 2030 will be a games like no other, where athletics meets Afrobeats, where Nollywood shares the stage with netball, where tradition meets tomorrow.
Today, sports is one of those things that's kept many countries going. And you cannot do that if you have no facilities that will encourage and bring back the talents of our youth. We're going to make it available here and to the international standard. So I believe that we're set to go, and I join all of you to join us as we lay the foundation.
Distinguished members of the Commonwealth Sports Evaluation Team, Lagos has become an important part of this conversation as Abuja 2030 beat, namely football, table tennis, and beach volleyball. I start by appreciating the wise decision of the National Sports Commission and the Commonwealth Games Nigeria for giving Lagos this responsibility. I also pledge to provide the necessary facilities and associated requirements of Commonwealth sports to ensure that the 2030 Games is successfully delivered.
A century ago, the Games began in Hamilton. Games.
Nigeria is a country of diverse nature, and Nigeria is welcoming to all of us. We have the brain, we have the energy, we have the population, the youth. We are showing that Nigeria is truly ready and open for business.
You saw it already, you heard it already, and it's no longer news. And of course, I still have with me Austin here. And of course, we do know one of the points Nigeria, keeps driving when it comes to, the bid process is that 100 years of the Commonwealth Games. And of course, it's not been held in Africa. It's not been held on African soil. You can't do 100 years and you say we're part of the Commonwealth without having it in Africa. I think that's a very strong point.
A very, very strong point indeed. But at least you must have to know that you don't just hand it over to somebody like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that is why there is a process, there's a bidding process. People will have to compete. You must have to prove that you have the capacity to host that kind of championship in terms of Commonwealth Games. A very big game, multi-sports events, comprising about 2 point something billion people in terms of the members of the Commonwealth of Nations. So it's a massive one. So before you bid that you want to host that kind of a big event at the global stage, you must have the capacity. In terms of capacity, we talk about the infrastructure, we have the facilities, the personnel, everything in place, for you to be able to go there. So I'm wondering what Nigeria is presenting to the table. That is another thing. Do we have the capacity? Do we have the stadium? Do we have what it takes, all the logistics, put in place? Because we have India that is there, that is already eyeing that. Remember, India hosted it in 2010. And over time, they have made that statement that, look, they want to showcase their tourism, they want to showcase their industry and everything to the rest of the world. And they feel that this is the best time. So Nigeria, we are coming in with a bid. Yes, in London yesterday, they did the final phase of the presentation, this first commission, they were there, the representatives and the rest of them. We do hope that by November 26th, they will be able to announce the winner of that bid. But before then, we'll be getting feelers of who is going to emerge the
All
winner.
right, before we go on this very quick break, NTA is going to play a huge role, being the like the host broadcaster, and NTA evidently are the landlords of the International Broadcast Center.
Yeah.
How huge could the role to be played by NTA turn out to be?
Of course, NTA has been a trailblazer a blazer in terms of when it comes to international broadcasting. We have done it in the past. We have continued to do it. You can't be the rich in terms of such global assignment. NTA is equal to the task, and of course, it might interest you to know. You know what is happening right now.
Yeah.
There's refurbishment, innovations are going on, new equipment being procured by this current NTA management to ensure that the IBC, International Broadcast Center, the Mushoda Abiola Stadium, is put into perspective, proper perspective, to match international standards for NTA to be able to beam that important event if eventually we win the bid to host it. So here in NTA, we are very much prepared for that, and we hope to give
Hopefully, Nigeria wins it because I go with that sentiment. 100 years, and you want us in Commonwealth, then we should be hosting. And of course, we still cannot get over the heartbreak of 2014. So give it to us. It's our turn now. All right, and of course, we must, thank the management of the NTA for, embarking on, that project of, turning around things at the International Broadcast Center there at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. All right, you're still watching Capital Sports coming your way from NTA Abuja Channel 5. A quick break beckons. We'll be back shortly.
Life is full of stress. But with InDrive, you can set the price for your ride. Choose a top-rated driver and fill your life with gladness and serenity during the ride. InDrive, choose a fair price for your ride. Because life is more than daily stress.
All right, you're still watching Capital Sports on NTA Abuja Channel 5. Let's quickly talk football. Like I said earlier, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria are training in Chile ahead of the FIFA Under 20 World Cup for the boys, which is going to begin this weekend. Just yesterday, we saw a quick substitution, like a player who got injured, and another one has been called from Nigeria to go replace him quickly. And of course, the Nigerian Under 17 boys in Cote d'Ivoire began their campaign, and they did flog, Benin Republic 4-1 in the opening game. And of course, it's a group of three. So they play their next game. And of course, we do hope that they get to win that and straight they'll be in the semifinals of the competition. And of course, on Monday night, we also saw, the Ballon d'Or. It went, the way of Ousmane Dembele of Paris Saint-Germain, a former Barcelona player. And of course, Lamine Yamal, it wasn't the winner this time around. So, Austin, I would just want your quick reaction because we have a lot of ground to cover. And of course, let's let the viewers know that, the phone lines are open already. You can call to contribute. Please go ahead.
Starting with the under 17 Wafu B Championship, which is ongoing in Cote d'Ivoire. I would say that the 4-1 victory by the Eaglets was a revenge of what happened in Port Novo in 2009, where the Golden Eaglets lost to Benin Republic by 3 goals to nothing. So it was an outstanding result, and it goes to show that these boys are hungry, to win that championship because we've won it twice, of course, in 2001 and in 2009. We've won it twice. There is African Cup of Nations under 17. So this is just qualifiers within the West African zone, to qualify for the main event. So beating Benin Republic is a step, in the right direction for us to be able to meet Burkina Faso. That is our next opponent.
Yes.
If we're able to beat Burkina Faso,
Even
we are
get a
right
draw.
there. Yes, of course, we are right there. So it's a very good one. Manu Garuba, the coach of the Golden Eagles, has repeatedly said that he is going to conquer the world once again. We won this championship at the world level 5 times, starting from 1987 during the time of Ndoko Bade And we have been very outstanding at the youth level, even though at the time we were worried that the kind of players being fielded were overage players. But with the new technology in place, MRI, it's easy to dictate whether a player is above that age or not. But all the same, we must have to build at the grassroots and make sure that the boys we are taking to this kind of tournaments are those boys that actually match the correct age so that there will be smooth transition from the youth cadre to the Super Eagles.
I'm glad to know because I spoke with their coach before he left Abuja and he explained that, there are about 5 grades when it comes to the MRI test. So if you're number 5, in the course of playing at the World Cup, you could, be screened out because as you grow, you go closer to the grade. So they don't even do the 5th grade. They don't do the 4th grade. What they do is the 3rd grade. But, your quick, reaction to the Ballon d'Or before we go for another break.
Yes, big congratulations to Osman Dembele. Yes, of course, becoming the sixth Frenchman to win the Ballon d'Or. We had Platini won it, Japan won it for France, and
Yes.
the pendulum before this time was swinging in favor of Lamine Yamal, and Lamine, being overhyped for that position. But at the end of the day, you have the coaches, you have the athletes, you have different players that voted. So it's all a compendium or of all the people involved in the voting process. So that led to the outcome of what we have. So he deserved to be the Ballon d'Or winner because he actually did well, winning the French champions, winning the Champions League, and also winning the French Cup, and also the.
All right. I would just say get yourself, a friend like that friend to, Odembele. He cried more than, the man himself,
Yeah, of course, it was quite an
was
emotional moment. Yeah,
quite
for him.
emotional.
Yeah.
And the mom was just sucking it in. Come on. All right. You're still watching Capital Sports. Another break beckons. Over back shortly.
Life is full of stress. But with InDrive, you can set a price for your ride. Choose a top-rated driver and fill your life with gladness and serenity during the ride. InDrive, choose a fair price for your ride because life is more than daily stress.
All right, quite interesting. Let's quickly have a quick review of how the season has been so far when it comes to European football. Also in Nigeria, we had lots of things over the weekend, but the league is still not taking shape for now. Nigerian teams, it was like 3 out of 4 for Nigeria on the continental level. Talking of positive results. But if you go to if you go abroad, especially to the top 5 leagues in Europe, we're seeing the boys quite early. They have been separated from, the men already, and one wouldn't just understand. But if you're just, we saw the UEFA Champions League last week, Europa League this week already. But the Premier League this year looks to have come with something different. But somehow, Liverpool, they've managed to win all their 5 games, 15 points. But everyone feels that Manchester United, they've been poor. But they have the same points with Manchester City.
Yes.
And they've played 3 big teams.
Of course, that goes to show you that this season is one of the seasons that I've seen that has been very much competitive in terms of how the teams have set up for this season. And you saw those teams like Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, and the rest of them that were at the top flight last season. They are going down because they are now engaged in European football.
Yeah.
They are playing more time. But just like you said, it's only Liverpool that is just firing in all cylinders, and they are nicking it at the dying minutes, winning almost all the 5 or 6 games they have played so far. They left it very late to win. I don't know how far they can go with that, coming with the late magic to win matches, because I know that as the season progresses, definitely it's going to tell on them because they are playing in the Champions League, they are playing in the Carabao Cup, they are playing in the FA Cup, and this is all. Although they have the depth with the number of players they have signed this season, it's paid huge a lot of money, and no coach has ever been supported the way they are supported the new coach who is in charge. Yeah, so of course he has all the final everything there. He has what it takes to take Liverpool to another title. But talking about Arsenal, yes, Arsenal, they have bought a lot of players, but hoping that they will be able to match up with what Liverpool is doing right now.
But why are some teams disrespecting Chelsea? They've got the badge of world champions, but they are still collecting.
Of course, yeah, what you have to understand is that Chelsea is just a team in progress. They are just rebuilding, so it is going to take them.
They are still rebuilding.
Yeah, of
The
course.
fans
They
don't
have
think so.
young players that are just coming into the fold, so I think they will have time to blend.
Any
They
young
didn't have
player,
a good
any young player on
preseason.
the street, Chelsea will sign.
Yeah.
All right, due to our discussions today, apologies, we couldn't just, I couldn't pick any call. But we do promise you we'll return next week, give you enough time to call us. I will take your calls. Thank you for hanging out with us today. I want to thank you. And of course, always beautiful to have the man himself here, Austin Idemudu of NTS Post 24. Many thanks for joining
It's a
us.
pleasure having you.
I'll give you your ball because it's got the
Okay,
hat-trick.
thank you.
Congratulations.
It's a pleasure
Many
being
thanks for
here. All
joining
right,
us
thanks,
on the
Daddy,
show.
for having me.
All right, quite an interesting debut on the show for him. And of course, do not forget that the show returns same time. The show returns same time on Thursday, 3 o'clock. I am Bade Adeleye. Thank you on behalf of the entire production crew. And it's bye from us here. Bye for now.